Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. To you I say Shalom. This is the brother Yeshaya coming at you again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Back with another lesson. Just another update on the MOTB, right? Got a video and an article I want to play. Well, a video I want to play and an article I want to read. But going into this new brain-computer interface that Apple is creating. And, we've been saying this, from our apostles, the elders on down, we've been saying this, right? That we're going to start seeing some of these, tech companies start coming out with their own MOTB or their own like interfaces that's going to be able to pretty much use the MOTB as a means to use their technology, right? But don't be surprised if you start seeing Samsung or some of these other tech companies start coming out with their own interfaces, right? That's going to use the brain C-hip or the hand C-hip, right? This is just showing you that we're living in the end times, man. We're getting closer and closer to that time where they're going to start forcing or really releasing this MOTB, right? It's going to start becoming mainstream. People are going to start accepting it more. We've been telling you this for years, right? That this thing is coming. And it's here, right? But let me play this real quick. Then we'll get the article and then get some precepts, and Lord willing, this will be edifying.
First came the Apple I computer in 1976. Then came the iPhone in 2007. In 2024, Apple launched its first Vision Pro AR headset. The mixed reality headset allows users to watch immersive videos and interact with their surroundings. Despite the significant pre-launch excitement for the Vision Pro, the high price, unfortunately, did not work in Apple's favor in a way. But it looks like Apple is trying to change that. According to a Bloomberg report, the tech giant is reportedly working on a new eye-scrolling feature for its Vision Pro headset. It is speculated that the company will be announcing the new feature during its annual Worldwide Developers Conference, commonly known as WWDC, which will take place this year on the 9th of June. The Vision Pro already offers eye tracking capabilities. Users can interact with the Vision Pro interface and make selections using a simple pinch gesture. But with the new possible enhancements, the eye-scrolling feature could enhance the headset's hands-free experience, leading to a more natural and seamless user interaction. According to a Wall Street Journal report, Apple has partnered with a neurotechnology company backed by billionaires Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. The two companies are reportedly working on a brain-computer interface. Reports suggesting the brain-computer interface, or BCI, will enable users with disabilities to control devices like iPhones using only their thoughts. And unlike Neuralink's chip, this implant version does not require cutting into the skull to install it. The brain-computer interface implant is done using blood vessels. Once in place, the brain implant picks up brain signals and translates them into digital commands. With 10 patients in the first set of the human trials, the Australia-based Synchron is ahead of Musk's Neuralink that has installed its chips in 3 people. From the physical press of QWERTY keys to the intuitive touch of a screen, the future of human-computer interaction may lie within the brain. And while the idea of an Apple brain chip appears promising, the technology requires rigorous testing before it can be deployed. To stay up to speed with the latest...
So we're finally hearing some updates on this new C-hip that Synchron is working on, which is backed by Jeff Bezos and what's his name, Bill Gates of hell. So we're finally getting some updates on it, and apparently their C hip, you don't need to make no incision in the skull to get it into your brain. Apparently they move it in through one of your veins in your that leads up to your brain. They wired it up and they pretty much push it up in there. But this just shows, man, hey, we're living in the end times, man. Technology is advancing, right? Things is getting more and more, like the scripture says, how Esau's going to come with his lying wonders, right? But first, let's get this. But it's getting more and more to the point where people are going to start being amazed at the technology that we're going to start seeing, right? AI robots, having the C hip in your hand. You can interface with anything, have anything at the palm of your hands, or do anything with the palm of your hands. And I remember when I first started hearing news about, right, the C hip being implanted, people start talking about it being a superpower, right? This human augmentation, you know, how it's going to be able to give you superpowers. It's going to, you know, you're going to be able to open your car door. You're going to be able to open your door to your house, punch in at your job. You'll be able to do a lot of things with just the palm of your hand. You ain't going to need to carry keys or your wallets or whatever it might be. Like, all that's going to be, you know, part of the past. You know, the future, like they say, the future is here, right? But let me read this. This is Daniel 12 and 4, Salakia. Daniel 12 and 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. You see, and that's what you're seeing now. You know, knowledge has increased exponentially. You know, when you talk about the 1900s, right? Knowledge has exponentially increased from 1970 all the way to now. You know, that's why you see all these advancements of technology. Every year is new shit coming out. So what do you think that these military or the military has, you know, hidden in their sleeves? Like, they show you little things like the cell phone. Whenever it came out, they already had that 20 or 30 years ago, before it released, right? But point being is that at the end times, right, until the time of the end, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. We're living in the end times where knowledge is increasing, or at least technological advancements and of different types of knowledge is increasing every year, right? To the point where with what's the name, Elon Musk's Neuralink, you have to cut a hole in your head and get that, you know, plug in your brain, or the C hip in your brain. But now Synchron's coming up with another technology or another method of being able to, you know, get you C hipped without the need of cutting your skull open or whatever. You know, they just wired it up there. But let me see. Let's get another precept. Let's get 2 Thessalonians, because as you saw, um, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8. But as you saw, Salakia, I think I spelled it wrong. But yeah, as you saw in the video, apparently that guy was disabled, and he was able to control his iPad or his Apple laptop with just his thoughts, which is another way, you know, is going to give people the incentive to try to get this C hip in their brain. First and foremost, with these people that are disabled or impaired, right? But also just people in general, they're going to want this. You know, they're going to view it as being, you know, a superpower. They're going to view it as being, you know, something. I guess you say the next step of human evolution, so to speak, right? Merging man with machine. This is all part of Esau's fifth industrial age, right? Merging man with machine. You see, like telling you that everything's gonna be smoother, everything's gonna run more quicker, right? More fluid, more easier. You see, they have this one video game called Cyberpunk, right? And in that video game, everybody's augmented. Everybody's got these chips in their arms, different types of chips in their on their head, their brain, right? To pretty much make them so-called better, faster, stronger, smarter, right? And we're seeing that this is becoming reality. This is becoming an actual thing. As they say, reality is stranger than fiction. Now, who would have known 20, 30 years ago that these things is going to come to reality? These things will be part of your everyday life, or you start seeing this, right? Let me read this. 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 8. It says, "Then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." Right, the wicked, he's being revealed. Now it's becoming now it's starting to the revelation of who he is starting to come out based on prophecy. And the prophets are the ones bringing this out, right? The true men of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Here at GMS, we're revealing who these men are, or who the wicked is, which is Esau, Edom, right? And like I said, prophecy alone is revealing who they are. This prophecy of the MOTB is revealing who they are. They can't hide themselves. Now they're going to have to just come out with it. You see? That's why it says, shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. What's the spirit of the Lord's mouth? The prophets. Right? Speaking out against them. Revealing who they are. And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's going to be with the angels. Right? When Yahweh Shah returns, him and his host of angels is going to really destroy this place, destroy their armies, dethrone them. But it says, verse 9, the point, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, which with all power and signs and lying wonders. Right? And that's what you see him doing with this new C-hip that he's creating. Right? Using these, what they call them, is a VR headset or augmented reality headset, and then using that paired up with the C-hip, you can be able to do all kinds of things, right? But this is all part of his lying wonders. You see, being able to interface with the real world, or how should I put it? Interact with the real world with software technology, right? And just using your thoughts. You see, people ain't gonna need to use a keyboard or a mouse and none of that no more. But let me read some of this article. It says Apple is developing a brain-computer interface. It says Apple is in the early stages of developing brain-computer interfaces that would allow people, especially those with mobility issues, to control their iPhones, iPads, and Vision Pro headsets with neural signals captured by a new kind of brain implant. According to the Wall Street Journal, Apple is partnering with Synchron, a privately held New York City-based company backed by Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates on the end project. The brain-computer interface, or BCI, industry is projected to grow significantly over the coming decades. Right. And why is that? Because this is the way the world is going. This is the way prophecy has stated that things is going to lead up to. Brain-computer chipping, right? Chipping in the arms, right? They're just chips in general being put under your skin and into the human body. These are things that has been prophesied in the scriptures. Right? As a matter of fact, let's just go ahead and read that. Revelation 13, verse 16. It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." You see, that's this mark. And you go into that word mark. Get it real quick. goes into the word charagma, right? And it says a stamp, an imprinted mark, a mark stamped on the forehead of the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist, right? And this is going to be a branding of those who take this. This is going to be a branding to you that you are a follower of Esau Edom. You are pretty much dedicated yourself to be a servant forever unto this man. You are property now. Not that you ain't property now, but now you willingly put yourself into his possession, right? This is the digital awl, right? Back in the ancient world, you had an awl. You know, you would use an awl to and you'll put it in your ear to mark that you. As a matter of fact, let me just get that. Let me open up a new tab. Let me pull this up. Let me see. Exodus 21:6. 21:5. It says, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or unto the door post, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. Right? So that was a mark, a branding, so to speak, of you becoming property, right? Of your master having ownership over you, right? And it says forever, and that's exactly what people are going. What this charagma, right? This micro C hip is going to be to you people who take it. But it says, going back to the word charagma, it says the mark branded upon horses, right? See, a branding, right? That's what you do. That's what in the ancient world you would do to brand your property, your cattle, your sheep, your horses. You see, but it says thing carved, sculpted, graven work, an idolatrous image, right? And this is what people are going to kneel to, essentially, because that Esau is going to, use order app KO. He's going to bring the chaos, but then he's going to bring the order, and the order is going to come through this MOTB. If you don't subjugate yourself by taking this thing, you're essentially going to be, left out. You're not going to be able to operate within society. That's why when we read Revelation 13 and 16, well, Salakia, I got to continue on, 17. It says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. You see? So you ain't going to be able to operate within society. You ain't going to be able to buy or sell, right? Meaning you ain't going to be able to work. You ain't going to be able to get paid. You ain't going to be able to go to the store. You're going to be off grid unless you get this implantable device under your skin or inside your forehead, inside your brain, right? Now, let me go back. But this has been prophesied in the scriptures, right? This type of technology coming out has been prophesied in the Bible. But anyway, let me read this. It says, according to the Wall Street Journal, Apple, hold on, I read that. Let me skip down a little bit. So it says, perhaps the best known player of this in this space is Elon Musk's Neuralink, which as of January has successfully implanted his device in 3 people. Historically, most users have relied on both mechanical through the use of a keyboard or mouse, and behavioral through the use of touchscreens or voice interaction with their computers. BCIs eliminate the need for physical movement, expanding device accessibility for people with profound physical impairments. It says, unlike Neuralink's N1 implant, Synchron's stent-like device, called the stentrode, is implanted on top of the brain, not inside of it, which allows users to avoid an invasive open brain implant procedure. Once placed, the stentrode works by using its electrodes to read brain signals and translate them into on-screen navigation and icon selection. Synchron's device works with switch control, a pre-existing accessibility feature in Apple's operating system that allows users to remotely control their Mac with an external adaptive device like a joystick or switch, or now the Stentrode. Since 2019, Synchron has implanted the Stentrode in 10 people, right? And this has all been behind the scenes, because I haven't been hearing nothing about Synchron. We've been hearing about Neuralink, right? But as far as Synchron, we haven't been hearing much about it. But apparently they had 10 people. They already tested this device on 10 people. But it says the journal visited Mark Jackson, a Pittsburgh resident who cannot travel outside of his home due to ALS. Jackson tested the Stentrode with an Apple Vision Pro with the headset on. He was transported to Switzerland, where he peered over the ledge of an alpine peak and felt his legs shake. So, lucky, this computer's kind of slow. But it says Jackson noted that because he can't use the Stentrode to mimic moving a cursor with a mouse or a touchscreen with his fingers, navigation using the Stentrode is much slower than typical interaction with a computer or smartphone. It's also slower than using the computer with Neuralink's N1, which is able to capture much more brain data than Synchron's device, which uses many more electrodes than the Stentrode. And this is just the beginning stages of it. See, that's the thing. Best believe they're gonna start making adjustments. That's the reason why they're doing these trials, doing these tests, figuring out. You saw, with his charts and graphs and shit. Trying to figure out how to best improve this thing. Right? They're gonna come out with the version 1, with the version 2, with the version 3. Who knows, by the time whenever it's ready to be released to the public, they're gonna come out with it's gonna be like version 10 or the version 20, right? But it says these latest developments in BCI technology come in anticipation of full FDA approval for the implants, which the journal notes is not expected for several more years. Now we know the time at the end, we're getting closer and closer. And like I told you before, the technology that they got really is more advanced than what they're showing us, right? I mentioned, for example, the cell phone. They had the cell phone 20, 30 years ago, before it was even released to the public, right? So this device, they already got it. They already have it, laid out. This is just something to help aid the people to kind of like desensitize them, right, into this new age of technology, of merging man with machine. So people are still kind of squeamish in getting this device, but they're starting to push it more and more into the news, more and more into the minds of the people, getting them primed and used to the idea of having these things in their body, right? But it says in the press release, Dr. Tom Oxley, the CEO and co-founder of Synchron, praised Apple, saying that the company is helping to pioneer a new interface paradigm where brain signals are formally recognized along touch, voice, and typing. With BCI recognized as a native input for Apple's devices, there are new possibilities for people living with paralysis and beyond. See, and beyond. See, but that's about it with that. But that's what we're heading to, man. Technological advancements, right? Lying wonders. This is what they're pushing to the people. People are eating it up, man. And best believe these tech heads, even people who aren't impaired or have any physical ailments or have any disability, best believe they're thinking about getting this as well, right? There's people just waiting for the the final product to be shown for them to sign up for it. Whenever Elon Musk announced his that pretty much people can sign up to get the C-hip. I already know a lot of people sign up for that thing. But let me get this real quick, and I'm gonna close it out. I don't want to make this too long, This is 2nd Ezra's 9 and verse 5. It says, "For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." Right? And when you go into that word manifest, when you look it up, you just look up the word manifest, it goes into obvious, right? It is obvious that we're living in the end times, right? Just this alone, the MOTB being released, you know what I'm saying? You're seeing what's going on around the world too, you know, war, rumors of wars, you know, the love of many waxing cold. You know, it's obvious that we're living in the end times to the point where people are thinking about that. The news is over here, you know, making certain headlines of, is this the end of the world? You know, articles coming out, you know, about the end of the world, Armageddon, all this thing, World War III, right? So the end is manifest, man. The end is here. We're living in it, you know? So Jake that says that we still got 20 or 30 years left in this fucking shithole, man, you're tripping. You're tripping, man. Especially if you're in the truth, man, you should be hastening the day of the Lord. You should be praying and hoping that, man, we're out of here by next year, Lord willing. We're seeing how this man, Donald Trump, is moving, you know, Operation Warp Speed. Man, we should be hastening the day of the Lord. We should be joyous at the fact that the end is almost here, man. Not hoping for another 20 and 30 years so you can, you know, make some money or whatever the hell it is Jake is trying to get into, man. But anyway, I pray the lesson was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close it out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Until the next time, I'm going to say Shalom, Kwam Yasher Allah.